I've seen so many people on YouTube talking about SCHD and AMD stocks. Well, SCHD is a dividend ETF, but you get what I'm saying. So is there something to these? Do we want to invest in these? Let's take a deep dive into both of these plays and see what we're cooking with. Let's look at the numbers. Let's go. All right, what's going on, y'all? Hope y'all are having a great day. Mine has been a doozy. Just listed this house for sale in Wetumpka, Alabama, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, over 2,500 square feet, sitting on over an acre wooded lot. This thing is beautiful, completely renovated, new flooring, all new paint, kitchens and bathrooms all have been redone, granite countertops. It is awesome. I was there today, putting the lockbox in, putting the sign in the yard, kitchen, so happy to see it. Hey, if you're interested in purchasing this thing, if you want to relocate to Alabama, Wetumpka, if you're looking for a rental property to pick up, man, this one's awesome. This is a fantastic area. Leave a comment below if you're interested. I'll also leave the Zillow link in the description below today. So let's get into it. Let's check out SCHD. SCHD is one of the Schwab ETFs. It's the dividend ETF of theirs. So I was pretty surprised to see this thing getting so popular. I guess more and more people are more interested in the dividend and ETFs lately. I'm a stock guy, so I'm not as into the ETFs, so I don't follow too many of them. I actually made a great video yesterday about index funds and ETFs. I'm going to link that at the end of this video, so if you're interested in learning more about that, check out that video. But obviously, this is the Schwab Dividend ETF. Let's see, it pays out a 3.8% annual dividend, which is pretty good. You know, like Nike pays out around 2%. A lot of stocks, pay that 1 to 2%, maybe a little over range. So 3.8 is pretty good. But let's look at the performance. And let's see if something like this, even with the dividend, would beat the market. Because that's, if I'm going to invest in an ETF, I'm looking for something that's going to be at least as good, if not better, than SPY or something like that. So in the past 5 years, we have almost a 43% return here. Obviously, you would add the 3.8% dividend to that. Let's check out SPY. What's SPY looking like? So SPY is 83.5%, so almost double the return, and SPY does pay a small dividend. It pays, 1.14%. So let's see, let's do some math here and see what we're looking like as far as annual return for both of these. So with SCHD, we are looking at, about 42.8% divided by 5 brings us to about 8.5% a year. If you add that 3.8% dividend, we're looking at about 12.4% annual return over the last 5 years. It'd be a little more than that with dividends invested. But SPY is, if we take that 83.5% and divide it by 5, we're looking at around 16.7% plus the 1.14% dividend, and that gives us about 17.8%. So 17.8 per year versus the 12.36. We're almost getting a 50% better return with SPY than SCHD. Now, a lot of people are saying that, the market's becoming a little overvalued and, a crash might be coming in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, coming up soon. And a lot of people's mindsets are the dividend value stocks perform better during a crash. But is that so? Let's look into that. Let's see how SCHD did in 2022 versus SPY. So during the last stock crash, the one in 2022, SPY hit a high around December 23rd, December 31st. We were at right under 475. So right at the turn into 2022, we were at 475. And it took it, let's see, till about January of 2024 to get back to all-time highs. So 2 years it did take from top to new high for SPY to get back. SPY did go down, let's 475 all the way down to 357. That was around a 25% decline. So we've got 2 years and it dropped 25%. So let's check out SCHD and see what its numbers are. So we hit a high in January 14th of 2022. It was 27.24 a share. And then it took us until July of 2024 to get back to all-time highs. So it took an extra like 7 months longer. That's not any better. That's worse. And it from the peak 27.22 to 22. So that was about a little over, somewhere around an 18% drop. So the only thing you could say for SCHD is that it's not as volatile. You don't get as good as of a return. It took longer for it to recover during a crash. It didn't go down as far, but when you look at money lost, how long it took to come back versus the returns over the 5 years, even with the dividend, it's nowhere close. So for me, I don't really understand what the fuss is about here. This is great for retirement. If you want that 3.8% divided by 4 per quarter, I mean, that's great. If you're looking for something a little more stable that, after you retire to live off of, then I see that. But people my age and in their 20s buying this, buy SPY or NASDAQ, the QQQ, if you're looking for growth. So for me, this one's a no-go. I don't see what the hype is about. Sure, it's cool to get paid a dividend, but your money could make you so much more elsewhere and bring in higher returns. Okay, so let's check out AMD. AMD, chip maker. They've specialized more in gaming over the years, and lately you can see here, this is the 5-year chart. They hit a all-time high around March 8th, 2024, and they've had quite a drop since. Their high was 207, and now we're at 120. So pretty decent drop there, but their revenue along with that was dropping. The gaming sector kind of had a decline in just the whole sector. So if we're looking at trailing 12-month revenue, we can see this decline, but we're starting to pick back up again here. So I do like that in revenue. The revenue's definitely picking back up. Revenue has accelerated over the past few years. So that does look good. Net income. Let's see. So net income, I'm not a huge fan of their net income. Now, the thing about AMD is they're on a mission to kind of get up to NVIDIA's level. Now, I don't know if they'll ever get up to NVIDIA's level, but the question here is, now that AMD has the fire lit under them, are they at least going to get up near there? Because you can still make some great money in the stock if they start picking up those revenues and really get into the AI market. So now here's the thing. Y'all, I'll link my 5-point checklist on stocks to buy at the end of this video. But something I like to look at, especially if you're a beginner investor, is when it comes to revenue, I really want to see a growing net income, not revenue, guys, net income here. I want to see this thing trending upward. And their net income for AMD since 2010 has just kind of, we're starting to get some momentum here, but then when we came down and we're starting to, the picture is just not what I like to see. Now, once you have some experience, what you want to do is look at this and say, okay, well, was there something going on? And there was. AMD has made quite a few acquisitions over the last few years, including a $50 billion acquisition a few years ago, and they've made some recent acquisitions too. So that's going to affect their net income and their earnings per share. So they're really out there buying stuff up to push that top line. So I like that, but am I liking it enough? That's the big question here. So earnings per share is it's kind of similar to what our net income story was showing. Yes, analysts predict AMD to pick up in revenue over the next few years, but right now I need a little more proof. So let's come over here to the PE ratio. And so NVIDIA right now is trading around a 55 PE, and they've been having tremendous revenue growth. And right now, AMD, we're at, that's not right. We're at, let's go back to Robinhood. Over 100 PE, 109. So, okay, it's kind of showing correctly here. Oh, that's the stock price. Okay, down here. So 113 there. Obviously AMD has changed a lot in the past couple of years, but even when we come back here, we're seeing some, they weren't profitable back here, but back then in 2020, 2021, 2022, we were seeing, 30 to 50. And that's really where I'd feel more comfortable buying AMD, under 50, preferably under like 45 or 40. That doesn't mean they're not going to explode over the next few months. But, let's see. Let's check out their balance sheet. There's just other companies out there right now that I feel like have better trajectories. And AMD, looks good. I do feel like AMD will make money over the long term, but is it what I want to be buying? And that's why I look through all this stuff. So cash on hand, we do have an uptick on cash on hand, so that's awesome. I do like that. That looks great. Let's check out the rest of the balance sheet. So cash on hand looks good. Total assets, just under 68 billion. Liabilities, 12. So that's a great ratio there. That looks awesome. So that makes that net income a little more tolerable when we got a good balance sheet going on. And check this out. If you go back, obviously this acquisition that they made a few years ago for $50 billion, you see that on their total liabilities. So we were in the $3 billion range, and then we jumped up to 12. That's kind of where that got added in. They took some debt on that. But also it made their total assets go up tremendously. So it was a good acquisition. And so that's kind of what we're seeing with net income. Those acquisitions are really where I think that if we can start getting some good solid growth and cash flow, I think there is a lot of upside for AMD. Let's check out their income statements, revenue. So 2019, $6.7 billion. We had about a 50% move up to $9.7 billion. About a 60-70% move into 2021. And then we had a big move into, let's see, it's almost about a 40% growth revenue into 2022. And this is where in 2023, we saw some negative revenue growth. That's what we were looking at. That came from just kind of the declining gaming sector that AMD is heavily in. So, for me, AMD's really working for it. They're picking up some acquisitions. They're really trying to compete and get in the AI market. I did listen to their last conference call yesterday, and they are hungry for it. They are looking to expand at a rapid pace. They are looking to really give NVIDIA a run for their money. So that's awesome. For me, AMD, I want to see... and I don't know if it's going to drop to this. I don't know if we're going to get a PE ratio back down under 50, especially under like 45 or 40. That's what I'd want to see it at. Or I want to start seeing some really explosive revenue growth and net income. Their margins, obviously their margins have been affected by their acquisitions, but I think it's got a lot of promise. It's just not at the price that I want to see it at right now. Doesn't mean it's not going to explode. Doesn't mean that it's not going to make some people lots of money in the next year to 5 years. I do think that, in the long term, buying here is not bad as long as you're willing to hold. But I just feel like there are stocks out there that are looking a little better to me right now than AMD. And to be completely honest, NVIDIA, I'd almost pick up NVIDIA right now at the price it's at right now over AMD. NVIDIA is trading at we're at a 55 PE. Yeah, I prefer it under 50. But, when you're looking at net income, it's exploding, and it's been growing for years, and it's hit explosive growth lately. And let's check out revenue. Their revenue numbers have been awesome. So around 2020, we were right under 11 billion in revenue, 60% gain almost into 2021. And then around another 50 to 60% move into 2022. Now into 2023, we pretty much broke even. But then going into 2024, man, we had over a double up in revenue growth. And I don't see that slowing down considerably. I think that, I don't know if we're going to stay at double levels, but even if NVIDIA is hitting 30% year over year, that's fantastic. So I'd prefer to see a price drop on NVIDIA, but I don't know, guys. I kind of feel like I'd almost rather buy up NVIDIA right now than AMD. That's just me. It's been running sideways since October, and now we're down at 140. It just hit an all-time high and then it rejected. But I don't know. The numbers for NVIDIA are really great. It's hard to argue with it. Obviously, I'm not buying it right now. I would, if it got under 50, I might pick up some shares. If it got under a 50 PE, I might pick up some shares. But okay, guys, I hope you liked that video. If you're into this kind of content, if you want to learn more about the stock market, subscribe, like the video, please. Also, we're a small channel, so if you have questions about any of this stuff you saw today, or you just want to hate on me for saying something stupid, leave a comment below. I respond to every single comment, and I enjoy interacting with y'all when you do comment. So please leave a comment below, like, subscribe, and y'all have an awesome day. Thanks.